Hello everyone. I want to talk about structures or books that you can use for glue books. I have quite a few examples here, some different things to use that you can use. This one is a very traditional glue book. It is made from a blank book. I did have to take pages out of this book to make room for all the images that I put into it. So just keep in mind when you're using a blank book, especially a hardbound book of any kind, and you are gluing images from the front and to the back of each page, you are tripling the amount of pages that book holds. So a book that has a spine that was built to hold 100 pages is now holding 300 pages or more. So you do have to take out pages to make room for all the stuff that you're gluing into the book, because the spine will break, it'll crack. It's not made for all of that in most of these books. And I will get into how to prepare books for glue books in a different video. So the first one, of course, is the very basic blank book. You can use any kind of blank book at all. Number two would be a composition book. I'll have the composition books. They're really nice. These are built in, they only have one signature. They can get pretty fat. You can put a lot of stuff into these, and you don't have to really worry about taking pages out unless you want to. The pages of these are really thin, but you want to keep in mind that you are gluing images to the front and back of the page. So that strengthens the page quite a bit and really thickens the pages as well. So composition books are really good, and in that same kind of thing, any kind of notebook, any kind of size that you want to use, also, anything you want to use is good. Another one that you can use is the sketchbooks with the spiral that are spiral bound. Again, they really do let you get your pages pretty full, pretty thick, and you don't need to worry too much about removing pages unless you want to. You can see how big your pages are getting or how thick the book is getting, and you can take pages out. It's really easy to take pages out of a spiral bound book. So those are really nice to use too. We have some unconventional type structures, and this is why I call it a structure. It's not necessarily a book. A Rolodex. I have this Rolodex here, and I am thinking about making it into a glue book or maybe an art journal. I'm not quite sure, but the little cards would be really easy to glue images onto, to art journal on, or whatever. It would be a really fun type of glue book. Another one that would be really unconventional and really easy is the meander book, and I have quite a few videos on how to make meander books. Meander books are very unconventional. They don't open like regular books, but the surface of the meander books is perfect for images and words. This one was made from newspaper images, newspaper words, and that kind of thing, and it opens up in really strange and different ways, but that's all this is. A glue book, my definition of a glue book is some kind of structure, a signature, or a piece of paper that has images or ephemera, pieces of paper glued into it or onto it. So meander books are great. Here's another little one with magazine images and words. These are really easy, small projects to start out with, not too complicated. Meander books are pretty easy to make. And another unconventional type book that would be easy to make into a glue book, just an accordion book. You've got a few panels. You can do your glue booking on the fronts and backs of each panel, and you can display it on a shelf or a mantle or something. So a really easy ways to do that kind of thing. So some people use a magazine for glue books. They'll take a fancy magazine or not so fancy magazine, something that they like some of the images in, and they will put images on top of text, things they don't really want to look at, and keep the images they do want to see open so that they can see them. And they just kind of collage and add paper and images to pages as they go. Magazines have a glue binding. I've had problems with magazine journals coming unglued if I get too much stuff in them. So just keep that in mind. They're not quite as sturdy as a regularly bound book, just so you keep that in mind. You can use altered books. This one is kind of a magazine. I think it's a gallery catalog. I think that's what it is. I got it at a secondhand store. I bought this because I loved the images, and there was so much blank space that I could add all kinds of things to the pages. It's got a glue binding, so I have to be careful about how much I put into it, but something like this would be really fun to alter and really easy to alter. I can put all kinds of stuff in that one, and it's huge. You can use some kind of book. Again, the spine is meant for the amount of pages that is already in the book, so you would have to take pages out. But a book with illustrations in it is a great way to start your glue book collection. You can use the images that are on the page already and just add other images to the pages. Great way to start, an easy way to start. You can use just a novel. Again, you'll have to take pages out of it, but you've got the pages. After you thin them down, you've got lots of pages to add images to. These work really well for glue books. And in the altered book family, you've got the day planners. We've got last year's day planner. Do you know what you're going to do with your planner? You could add images and just make it into a glue book. You can also, for the year coming up, you can use a planner like this and glue book days as you go along the year. And at the end of the year, you would have a really cool glue book that would be a memory of that year. So you can use anything for a glue book. You can, let's see, what we do next. You can use just pieces of paper. If you're not sure that glue book is for you, you can try doing glue book pages on just a single piece of paper. Try it out, see if you like it, see if you like the process. You can use images or words any way you want to. And then you can save these pages in a page protector, put them in a binder so that they're all together. I like to use these portfolios. I find these at Michael's. They have the page protectors that are, if they're sewn in, they're glued in, and you can just slip your page directly into these page protectors and keep your glue book pages together. You could do glue book pages on a postcard size piece of paper just to try it out, just to see if you like it. So you could also use a junk journal This one is actually an art journal, but junk journals are a great way to start glue books. You haven't really lost anything. You're not. You haven't bought a book. You know, this is a nice way to try out a glue book process and see if you like it. And junk journals are really a great way to use up stuff that you have. So I really like junk journals. Another thing that you can do with junk journals, you can use envelopes. This one, these envelopes I sewed into a signature, and I have some of the envelopes I've glued the pages, the flaps down so that they're just a page. Some of them I have left the flaps so that you can, you know, make a glue book postcard or piece of paper and glue or put it into the pocket, and then you can see the glue book page through the window. I have used these little flyers. They're daily flyers. You get them in your junk mail. I've been saving these Globe Life little brochures for a very long time and decided that they would be a really cute size to make a glue book out of. So I just sewed a bunch of them together, some different signatures, and I will be adding images to these and making just a little glue book. I do like working in signatures. When I get my signatures done, I sew them into a cover that I make for the signatures. This one is a glue book. It's a vintage style, vintage themed kind of glue book. I did the signatures in cardstock so that they're really sturdy, but this is just a different variation of a glue book. It is just a 3-tiered fun little glue book. This one is made, again, I sewed these brochures, these travel brochures, into a cover, and so this also would be really easy to use as a glue book. I might not necessarily like what's on the pages. I can cover all of that up with images that I want to see and still have a wonderful book, whatever you want to do. This one also is a glue book. This one is a themed glue book. It's got faces in it. It's a flip book. It's got 2 different tiers in it. And all it is cardstock with faces glued onto the pages. So you can do glue books any way. There's so many different ways to do glue books. So I like working in signatures, and the reason I like working in signatures is I can use the kind of paper that I want to use, and I can work the signature. I can put as many layers of images and ephemera on each page, and I don't have to worry about how thick my signature gets. I can make my signatures and then put my signatures together, however many signatures I want in my book, and then I make a cover to fit the signatures. So I don't have to worry if I'm breaking a spine, if I've got too many layers on a page. I'm pretty free to do whatever I want to do. So I make signatures out of all kinds of things. You can make them any size that you want. I've got large images, large full-size magazine images that I didn't have any place to put. So I got some 11 by 17 inch paper, folded it in half, made signature to put some of these larger images in. And this one is one that I'm still working in, but you can make them as large as you want. You can make them as small as you want. I've got the little miniature glue book signatures ready to start working in. I've got the junk mail signature. Again, this one's pretty large. I have a lot of large images that I'm trying to use up. And so this signature was made from paint chip brochures, magazine covers, calendar pages, junk mail, all kinds of stuff. It's got fold outs, and it's really big. It's got a lot of fold outs, and it has a lot of space for a lot of images. And so I have 3 signatures to put together in this very huge book. So junk journals are really, really nice for glue books. I also have signatures that I made from calendars. You can use calendars that you like the images of. It gives you something on the page before you start gluing things onto the page. So, or you can use the backs of the calendars with the white space and just glue your images onto calendars. I love working in signatures. It really has saved me a lot of effort, a lot of frustration. I can make them as thick as I want to and not have to worry about breaking the spine of a book. So this signature I made from the Art to Borrow from Stampington and Company. And this one I like because I can use the art for one page. I can put images on top of the artwork that's already there, the color that's already there, or I can cover up the page completely. The backs, of course, I've covered completely with images and pieces of paper, ephemera, stuff like that. So you can use scrapbook paper for your signatures. You can use cardstock. You can use anything you want to use. So I think that is it for the different kinds of structures. Think outside the box. You don't have to necessarily have a blank book to start with. But if that's what you're comfortable with starting with, that is wonderful. Just grab something that you want to add your images to. The next video I will be doing, I am going to discuss images. What kinds of images can you find to put into glue books? There's all kinds of things you can do, all kinds of things you can collect. Thanks for watching.